friend. Friends, will you come with me, Olivia Robertson, of the Fellowship of Isis, and join with us in the awakening of Isis in the constellation of Taurus? Anoint your brow with water. No matter what is your time and place, come with us into our place and time. Come into the sky, in the constellation of Taurus, with the sun in Taurus, at no less a festival than Beltane Eve, May Eve. You are now hovering in your astral body, while still retaining some earth consciousness, over the land of Era, and you look down at the southeastern corner, and you are aware of a rainbow-coloured light encircling a mysterious valley between two rivers, and violet-coloured mountain, two blue foothills, and many patchwork hills. You descend into the ancient castellated Clonigall Castle, which is like a mist around you. You sink deep into the castle until you find a company assembled at Brigid's Well, around which the castle was built. There are about 50 people for this evening ceremony of Beltane, with the lovely long shadows. The priestesses wear the Hathor Isis headdress. That is cow's horn supporting the solar disk upon the seat of Isis, and they wear lemon yellow robes. Priests wear the white Osiris headdress and white robes. The women companions wear silver circlets, the men the white fra headdress, folded cloth, and all wear white robes. The Ankh Lamen is worn round the necks of all. The priestesses use the sistrum, the Egyptian rattling instrument, the most ancient in the world, and the priests hold the crook of Osiris. The women carry these beautiful magical wands. The priestess anoints each brow when she has poured a libation into the well, and the other priestesses help her. May you receive true vision. May you receive true vision. May you receive true vision. Feel a tingling upon your forehead. Visualize a priestess lightly touching the place of your third eye. Now the priest Hierophant, Lawrence Durden Robertson, summons the company to make procession to the abbey of the goddess Dana.
We will come to the abbey of Dana.
There is a beautiful procession passing 9 pillars down the lengthy temple, and it is all cool here. But when they reach the portico of the Muses, suddenly there is the warm May sunshine of this lovely spring evening. The procession moves into a garden, and the sun now is sinking in the west, which is filled with a golden glow, and all the shadows therefore point to the east. And there are many shadows of yew trees, and the company make a maze-like movement through the yew trees, and they reach a ruined abbey of Dana, which is rich with lovely spring flowers, especially a great cherry tree with pink blossoms. And the company make a maze-like entrance into the chapel abbey itself. And there are primroses still, and bluebells, lovely, and flowering shrubs of various sorts. And, however, the attention of the company is directed towards the high altar, which is a granite dolmen, and there is still the sound of the evening chorus of birds, and we think of Dana, mother of all the birds, and everyone turns to the priest Hierophant.
Companions in the quest for greater consciousness, we are assembled to experience the mystical awakening bestowed by the goddess Isis through her constellation Taurus.
The priestess now approaches the priest. They both face each other, both hands, palms facing each other. They stand in this way until power, silvery and golden power, is felt descending from above. When they feel this power, when others even can see this shimmering in the air, this beautiful blended power of love and truth, they part their hands slowly and then face the whole company in their hands held up in the Egyptian style above their waist, shoulder length, and send forth rays of beauty, love, and joy. Feel this yourself. You may feel a shivering within you, a warmth, a glow in your heart, silver light in your head. Your whole body may feel as if it were under water. The priestess now offers plant incense before the dolmen. The priest offers plant incense before the dolmen. Yes, invocation has been made to the mighty god of the constellation of Taurus with the red eye, the left eye of the god Aldebaran. The solemnity of the occasion holds all silent until the priest Hierophant says that the procession will now be formed to visit no less than our ancient Boulogne stone.
The procession will now proceed the old Boulogne stone, prehistoric centre of worship.
There is music and the rattle of sistrum, and the company leave the Abbey of Dana and make their way across the garden towards the great lime tree avenue, soaring trees of the soft pale green of early spring. But they do not go down the avenue, they swing to their right, and we think they're going into a wilderness, but they're not. They turn to the left and enter a wrought iron gateway leading into a lovely field sloping down to the river Derry, and there are some early cattle that are now using this grass because there's been such an early spring, and they gaze at us with deep brown eyes. And we follow this procession. Finally the stone is reached. It's huge. It has a cup which was formed years ago by women grinding corn. Hence it is sacred to the goddess Grania, the corn goddess. The procession, as is the wont, very slowly goes 3 times the path of the sun round the stone. Then the priestess offers some grain which is brought in a little bag to the wonderful goddess Grania of the sun. Now the priest invokes the god Manannan of the mysteries, he who is of the western land of Atlantis, where the sun is now sinking. He calls upon Manannan Maclear, link with the Isle of Man, called after Manannan now as we think of this. And each person proceeds to dip their fingers in the rainwater which luckily has accumulated there, and put it on their brow, because this is the walked stone. The village people for thousands of years have used it for healing. Now the company sits on the ground in a very informal way, and one priestess is called upon the she. I call upon the beloved she, spirits of the air, spirits of fire, spirits of water, spirits of the earth. Brightly shines the fire of Brigid in the centre of the earth. Softly shines the fire of Brigid in the womb that giveth birth. Softly blows the winds of Mari, draws her veil across the sky, dims the golden rays of Grania, moves the treetops with a sigh. That is the system of Egypt, but we're summoned now by fairy music to the very grove, the ancient bell of the Druids, and the priest Hierophant calls us to the grove of Diana.
Let us proceed to the grove of Diana, a secret temple within our wilderness.
Now, it is getting more mysterious. We rather wonder what's going to happen to us as we proceed into the wilderness itself. We cross the field, and instead of turning to the right to the abbey, we turn to the left-hand path, which goes downwards into the wilderness. And then on the right, just to have you bewildered, we face a long, dark yew walk, 600 years old. Follow the procession as it wends its way, as ghostly monks are said to do. I don't know if they're mingling with us, but I'm sure the Sidhe are watching us. Come. When you think you're going to go on walking forever, suddenly the company swing to the left, and we go down through the wilderness, past a Chinese ginkgo tree, various trees from many lands, but towering above them are cypresses, and we can see a glimmer of a fire. We enter by 2 cypress trees, and our floor is beautiful. It's all of pine needles and pine cones, and there's a small, as it were, passage of trees, and then a great circle, and in the centre is the Beltane fire, and the whole company assembles round the fire, and I speak to them. Know that the ancient mystery of Isis and the son of Queen Astarte was here enacted. Isis, disguised as a nurse, looked after the little son of Queen Astarte during her wanderings seeking Osiris. But one night the queen followed her and found her holding the child over a fire. The queen challenged her and drove her away, whereupon Isis revealed herself as the great star goddess and said, "Wretched woman, thou hast denied thy son divinity. Know that if you had allowed me to hold him within the fire of sacred flames, he would have been immortal." This same story was told of Greece with Demeter in her wanderings. Persephone, she also, disguised as a nurse, looked after the son of a queen, and the same thing occurred. She was driven forth. But here in Ireland, the same thing happened with a different result. A mother came to stay here with her son, knowing nothing of this. When she came to put her son to sleep at about 11, she saw a woman, and the son told her that a lady had tucked him in, and she looked, and the woman wore a swan brooch, symbol of the Sidhe, and she knelt and she lighted a fire. And then she opened the window, which you're never meant to do if you're afraid of the Sidhe at Beltane. But my friend and the son were happy to see her and welcomed the goddess, Dana. On the next day, May Day, at 5, the little boy was put to sleep before a journey, and the mother went up, and this time she did get a shock. She saw the woman perfectly solidly standing by her son's bedside. She was going to wake him up to give him a banana and some milk, and the goddess put her finger to her lips in the ancient sign of the mysteries of Harpocrates. Friends, we are seated around the fire, hearing tales of the Sidhe and of how the great goddess manifests today to those who are ready, even as children, to awaken to the mysteries. However, though we love the land of Era, we extend to all lands, all countries. I have half Indian nephew and nieces, and we are related to the Indian peoples. Many words in Gaelic are the same. So now it is necessary for us to invoke the mighty deities of that great continent. A priestess steps forward and sprinkles dried incense on the fire. I offer this incense to thee, Lakshmi, goddess of the cow, who produced the turning universe from the churning of thy sea of milk. Yet thou canst appear as any of thy children, disguised avatar. And the pilgrim asked in his wanderings, whence does that wind blow, the sweetest senses I ever inhaled? And it seemed to him as if his own conscience were advancing to him in that wind, in the shape of a maiden, fair, bright, white-armed, strong, tall-formed, beautiful of body, noble, of a glorious seed, of the size of a maiden in her 15th year, as fair as the fairest things in the world. And the soul of the faithful one addressed her, asking, what maid art thou, who art the fairest maid I have ever seen? And she answered him, O youth of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds, of good religion, I am thine own conscience. I was lovely, and thou madest me lovelier. I was fair, and thou madest me still fairer. I was desirable, and thou madest me still more desirable. I was sitting in a forward place, and thou madest me sit in the foremost place, through good thought, good speech, and through the good deeds of thine. Here this priestess hands round a beautiful vessel of milk to all to drink, with these words to each. Dear friend, accept this milk from the mother of all beings into thyself, and know thyself as her daughter. Know thyself, dear friend, as her son. We hear her voice, and the other priestesses hand round milk from the goblet in cups with these words until all the company partake. Imagine yourself now being offered pure milk by a priestess, accepting that you are nourished by your mother's milk and by your divine mother's milk, which will bring you knowledge of eternal love and life. For does not life come through the mother? Now a second priest offers dried herbs in the fire. Now all the company start putting fir cones and small twigs on the fire as the Atlantides are invoked by the priesthood. We call also to help us in our devotions the bright holy Pleiades. Companions, let us make the weaving of the rays, as do the Atlantides. Let us move from north to west. Friend, now look at this amazing spiral dance of weaving the waves of the Atlantides. Watch this dance. Join in. Silvery white and lemon-coloured colours may be seen, and a rosy glow around the company. Cold electric-like power as raindrops may be felt, especially in the throat. There is a faint shift of consciousness. Feel, dance. The company are all separating, dancing around the fire and round the trees. The children are joining in their own dance, holding hands, weaving in and out. It's like old children's games. The men make an archway and the women weave their way in and out. And what they're really doing is weaving all the beautiful qualities invoked by the Hades. Think of them: Pythele, the Graces, the ruler Coronis, rich crowned clear of meditation, Theo who heals, dignity of Eudora, religion of Ambrosia, perpetual light of Dione. And then think of the Pleiades, Alcyone, Lucida, brings the light, Arundhati, of the festival of lights, Amber the mother, Maya, mother of the god Hermes of mind, Taygete of joy, who gives the honey harvest, dark-faced Electra, who's so loyal, and Asterope and her twin sister, who bring friendship, and the mother Pleione, dance, dance, and bring your own ray to it. Gradually the net is drawn closer, having moved out into the wilderness on our own, dancing joyfully. People begin to come back to the fire, holding their hands as if they held invisible webs. They begin moving in 3 circles round the fire, the inner circle moving from left to right, the middle circle from right to left, and the outer circle weaving in and out of the cypresses, again the path of the sun. So each person sees the other, smiling, each are going a different path. But suddenly the circle stops. All hands are held up to the sky. Every hand then draws power from the rich, dark earth. All sink into meditation. The priestess calls upon the company to gaze upon a scroll of stars as she speaks of the awakening of Taurus and Isis. Before meditating, all call upon Isis. Visualize yourself surrounded by the stars of the coming night of Beltane. The Sidhe disport themselves, and you gaze with wonder at our elder brothers and sisters, the star beings. We are of earth, in planetary consciousness, yet we awaken into the stars. The priestess draws our souls to Isis and the stars. There is a silence. Priestess speaks. I see a new humanity who know their own immortality. A world where there is no death, because people leave their bodies, as we are doing now, returning to them, changing bodies, but knowing their spirits are eternal. Be with us now and know that there is no death. Life is eternal. Like a flight of doves or the Irish swans of Lear, we descend from our spirit bodies into the astral bodies that are seated round this flickering fire. And each sends forth a blessing. The priest Hierophant asks for blessing on all beings.
May thy blessing be upon all beings.
Priest Hierophant stands up, and all stand, and he gives thanks.
We give thanks to Serapis and to Vishnu.
I give thanks to Isis and to Lakshmi. The company are producing a feast for Beltane. The children are particularly interested now in this. Their sandwiches and crisps and things they like, and nice things to drink. But curiously enough, we feel rather out of place. We try and touch a sandwich and our fingers go through it. We would drink from a cup with some fruit juice, and we cannot drink. My friend, I don't think you and I belong here. We have our earthly setting sun elsewhere, under some other sun sign. We look our last with longing at this beautiful scene, knowing that we can come back at any time. Now we have been given the key, and the key is the sign of Isis, Ankh, love. That is the key, whatever form it takes. And we watch the party, and suddenly we laugh because we see these she, like blue fire, that had invited us to this party, and they are with the company, and you and I can see them, and not all the others can. We see the she are joining in, the fire spirits with the fire, the water with the well water, the earth spirits. It is now time, however, to come back from Ireland to your own time and place. I'm Olivia Robertson, Clonigall Castle, Enniscorthy, South Ireland, of the Fellowship of Isis. Shlante!